Vila de Conde is a municipality in the Norte region of Portugal. The population in 2011 was 79,533, in an area of 149.03 square kilometers. The urbanized area of Vila de Conde, which includes the parishes of Vila de Conde, Azurara and Árvore, represent 36,137 inhabitants. Vila de Conde is interlinked to the north with the Póvoa de Varzim, forming a single urban agglomeration. History. Vila de Conde is one of the oldest settlements in northern Portugal. Geological artifacts dating to the Paleolithic have been discovered in sites in the parishes of Módivas, Malta, and Labru dating from 100,000 to 15,000 years. In other parishes there have also been discoveries of implements and mounds dating back to the Bronze Age and Neolithic periods, indicating a period of transition between foraging and sedimentary civilizations. Its origins date back to the founding of the Portuguese territory. The earliest written document, by the Countess Madonna Diaz, refers to the Vila de Conde in a chart used for the sale of land by Flamula Devota to the monastery of Guimarães, but its ancient origins date back to the Castro of São João and other Iron Age castros that include dispersed settlements in Retorta, Baganta, Farreiro, Vaeo and Labru. In the 18th century, Geronimo Conte de Argota, citing references to the Castro culture, identified the existence of one of these structures in the hilltops of Cidade de Baganta, a structure occupying 50 hectares. Other castros within the municipality have been mostly agricultural, and some discoveries of ceramics have occurred, although most have been found in ruins. Similar vestiges of the Roman occupation of the region continue to be discovered, and archaeological digs are ongoing in a dozen sites throughout the municipality. Sancho of Portugal is linked to the founding of this settlement in 1200, although he left its administration to Count Mendonça de Pizarro Finho, to which the village became known. Later, King Dinis of Portugal bestowed on Maria Paz da Ribeira these seigneurial holdings. In 1318, Afonso Sanchez and Teresa Martins founded the monastery of Santa Clara, later referred to as the Convent of Santa Clara. The construction of the monastery developed from a dream. The nobleman presumably had a dream of constructing a stairway to heaven, which he was convinced was a sign from God that he wanted him to construct a house of worship, and stopped his planned construction of a castle. The cornerstone was laid in 1318, and once completed it was deposited in the hands of the Franciscan order, which he patronized throughout his life, eventually leaving Vila de Conde, its lands and rents, in the possession after his and his wife's deaths. Today it is the ex-libris of Vila de Conde. The priory became the judicial seat, with all the royal rights in the area. Yet King Edward began to contest these grand privileges during his reign, and King John III of Portugal finally stripped them of those rights in 1537, investing his brother Edward with the seigneurial titles. At the marriage of Catherine, his daughter, with John I, 6th Duke of Braganza, the Infante Edward passed on the title to the Royal House of Braganza. Consequently, Vila de Conde had representation in the royal courts, and there all Caldas were nominated for dukedoms in the Royal House of Braganza. But this was also responsible for the local government weakness and high taxes on most local economic activities, except shipping and trade, where the national government had sole control. During the 16th century, attained the apex of its commercial and maritime importance due to naval construction, associated with the Portuguese Age of Discovery. Many of the historical buildings, such as the Port and Customs House, were all integral in the commercial relief of the 16th century. The passage of King Manuel through Vila de Conde during a pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela in 1502 helped to develop some of the important infrastructures in the city. The Matriz Church, Praça Nova and municipal buildings, along with new arterials, were begun under the reign of Manuel I. The Praça Nova, today Praça Vasco da Gama, was opened in 1538, during the reign of King John III of Portugal, and where the municipal buildings were located. Manuel I conceded a foral in 1516, due to the active and integral participation of its population during the exploration of the new lands in India. Of these, mariners of note were the brothers Paulo and Francisco Faria, who were on Vasco da Gama's expeditionary voyage. During the 19th century, French troops were responsible for the destruction and pillaging of many of the infrastructures and deaths. By the middle of the 19th century, the town had one ecclesiastical parish, dedicated to St. John the Baptist, founded by Manuel I of Portugal, and erected by the Archbishop of Braga, Diogo de Sousa, in 1518. In addition, the community included the Church of the Misericordia, hospital, 6 chapels, municipal building, custom house, the convent of Santa Clara, and the convent of Nossa Senhora da Encarnação. In addition, the secular buildings included a small theatre, a recreational assembly, an ornate dock of rock on the right margin of the Avenue River towards its mouth, and a cross from the chapel of Nossa Senhora d'Águia. In 1997, the urbanized area was elevated to the status of city. Geography. Physical geography. Vila de Conde is located in the northwest coast of Portugal, surrounded by the municipalities of Vila Nova de Famalicão Municipality, Maia, Crefé, Matosinhos and Póvoa de Varzim. Fronting the Atlantic Ocean and the Avenue River, the municipality includes 18 kilometers of beaches, in addition to extensive rural areas with fields and estates. Located 20 kilometers from Porto, access to the municipality is completed through many of its transport networks: the A28, the EN13, a metro line and the A11 roadway. The area of Vila de Conde is part of the granite metamorphic basement, the Iberian Hercynian Massif, that extends from the Spanish border to Espinho south of Porto. Over the Hercynian bedrock there is a prevalence of sandy beaches, and in other areas, the erosion of these sands has allowed the exposure of the rocky substrata. Most of the rock outcrops disappear north of the Avenue River, yet these deposits are irregular, and most comparable sediments are not necessarily found at the same altitude. There are also deformations associated with the last interglacial period that have affected these sedimentary layers, most commonly in the beach of Sampaio, where deposits have been discovered between various altitudes. Human geography. The municipality is subdivided into the following local government civil parishes, of which Azurara, Árvore and Vila de Conde form the urbanized city of Vila de Conde. Twin towns. Sister cities. Vila de Conde is twinned with. Economy. The municipal authorities have promoted a future-looking environment in Vila de Conde that have concentrated on the tourist market, involving the requalification of many of the historical buildings, in addition to promoting an ocean-centric tourist economy associated with the Programa Polis initiative. The communities along the coast, which include the main beaches and bird sanctuary, are essentially beach resorts with a high-technology industrial park in Mindelo with some semiconductor industries. Transport. Vila de Conde is serviced by an ample network of terrestrial, aerial and maritime transport links. The road networks include accesses to the national autoestradas and intermunicipal roadways, along a north-south axis from Vila Nova de Cerveira until Porto via the A28 autoestrada. The A7 crosses the A28 along an east-to-west intersection, along the north of the city, linking Vila Nova de Famalicão to Guimarães. The national roadways that cross the municipal borders is managed by the municipality, including the EN13, which crosses the municipality and city along a north-to-south axis, linking into the northern agglomeration of Póvoa de Varzim. In the north, the EN205 intersects the municipality along an east-to-west trajectory from Vila de Conde to Vila Nova de Famalicão. Similarly, the EN104 crosses the municipality in the center, along a similar orientation, and connects Vila de Conde with Trofeo and Santo Tirso. The ancillary EN205 and EN104 are primarily used by motorists within the municipality and interlink the many civil parishes. Municipal public transport is primarily operated by Litoral Norte Transportes Urbanos da Póvoa de Varzim, although the remains lines are managed by Transdev. The B line of the Porto metro system connects Vila de Conde with Porto and the airport, providing both normal and express services, in addition to northern connections to Póvoa de Varzim. The line also operated an older rail line that connected Porto and Póvoa de Varzim, with intermediary stops in Vila de Conde, but was discontinued in 2002 in favor of metro services. Situated 15 kilometers from the center of Vila de Conde, the Porto Francisco de Sá Carneiro International Airport, the second largest international airport in the country, is linked to Vila de Conde across the A28, EN13 and Porto Metro. Architecture. Civic Aqueduct of Vila de Conde, initially constructed between 1705 and 1714. It had 999 arches and ran for 4 kilometers. The aqueduct is the second longest in Portugal, connecting a spring in Terraço, Póvoa de Varzim, with a fountain in the monastery of Santa Clara. Municipal Hall of Vila de Conde, located in the Praça Nova Square, date back to 1543. It is located in front of the municipal marker, and is one of the more important urban interventions in Vila de Conde since the 16th century. The Executive Office Block and the Salão Nobre, in particular, are the centerpieces of the building, with an ornate portrait of Queen Maria II of Portugal surmounted by royal coat of arms. Mill of Azurara, a rectangular building, with the coat of arms in sculpted rock of the Marquess of Vila Real. Military Fort of Nossa Senhora da Assunção, the Fort of Our Lady of Assumption, also known as the Fort of São João Baptista. It is located at the mouth of the Avenue River. Religious Chapel of Nossa Senhora de Socorro, the Chapel of Our Lady of Aid, Help, is implanted on a rocky escarpment over the Avenue River. On the Rua de Socorro, the chapel is atypical of Portuguese architecture. It has a square plan and large rounded dome. Yet, in the interior, the chapel exemplifies 18th-century architecture, with azulejos showing the life of Christ, and a Rococo-style altar. It was ordered built by Gaspar Manuel, Knight of the Order of Christ and chief pilot in service to the king during voyages to India, China and Japan, and his wife Barbara Ferreira de Almeida. Both were buried there on the deaths. Chapel of the Nossa Senhora da Guia, the Chapel of Our Lady of the Guide, dates back to the 10th–11th century, located at the end of Avenida Marquesa da Bandeira. The chapel likely existed as early as 953, and referenced in a 1059 inventory of the monastery of Guimarães, but designated as the Chapel of São Julião. It is an irregular building, with an interior of azulejo from the 17th–18th century, and a roof decorated with scenes from the Bible and figures of saints. Church of São João Baptista, also referred to as the Matriz Church of Vila de Conde, located along the Rua da Igreja. The building is a latter Gothic structure with elements of Manueline, Baroque and Neo-Gothic styles, represented by a Latin cross of 3 naves. Transept. Its construction in the 16th century was initiated by King Manuel of Portugal's visit in 1502, who defined the plan, provided substantial budget and imposed a tax to support the project. The architecture is marked by a large portico, a rectangular bell tower, while the interior is richly decorated with ornate pulpits and chapels. Church of the Misericordia and Casa de Despacho, initiated in 1559. The plan of the Assembleia da Irmandade was to construct a church with a bell tower similar to the Misericordia Church in Porto and having a pulpit, comparable to that of the Church of Santo Eloy. Similarly in Porto, the church has one nave whose interior is decorated in azulejo, while the roof is supported by a wooden beam. The ancillary Casa de Despacho is notable for its window in the Manueline style. Church of Azurara, located between Rua Padre Serafim das Neves and Rua Nossa Senhora de Fatima. The church was constructed in the 16th century, with large naves, rectangular chapel and bell tower. The Manueline portico is built in sculpted rock, with rosettes and with a central coat of arms of King Manuel I. The interior, with its azulejos and gold leaf altar, sacristy and 17th century paintings, belly its stark exterior. Roman Church of São Cristóvão de Rio Mau. The Church of St. Christopher is a simple Roman church in a stark Romanesque style, single rectangular body, surmounted by a Templar cross. The Monastery of Santa Clara, also referred to as the Convent of Santa Clara, although founded in 1318 by Afonso Sanchez and Teresa Martins, is an 18th century refurbishment. Since by the middle of the 17th century the building was in ruins and conditions did not allow the nuns to properly use the building, the remodeling of the building was discontinued after events in the 19th century and the abolition of monastic orders. Between 1929 and 1932, the DGEMN, Direção Geral dos Edifícios e Monumentos Nacionais, intervened to protect the building. The ex-libris of Vila de Conde. Church of the Convent of Santa Clara, located in the Largo de Afonso Sanchez, is a monument constructed in 1318, with traces of Gothic, Manueline, Baroque and Rococo architectural styles. The church is based in a unique nave and transept of large dimensions, with the interior marked by richly decorated woodwork. The chapel of the founders houses the Manueline and Rococo tombs of historical nobility. The chorus is marked by 2 aisles of seating and paintings, while the high altar is embossed with gold leaf. In addition, in the interior from the beaches have several examples of prehistoric and Roman structures such as the Castro de São Pio, or the Roman Civitas Baganta, in addition to homes and estates of rural gentry, or monastic settlements, such as in Junqueira, Azurara of Aeo. Culture. Vila de Conde is the center of one of the more prestigious fairs of traditional artisans, that include quilts, wool sweaters, ironworks, in addition to needlework. During the summer, the municipality is known for the several secular and religious celebrations. These include the Curtis Vila de Conde International Film Festival, the Feira Nacional de Artesanato, the Feira da Gastronomia, the Feira das Atividades Agrícolas, and the Festival of São João. Every 4 years, the religious festivals of Corpo de Deus are significant, and known for the road-covered mats of flowers, used in processions from the circuit the main churches.